What will Tesla stock price be in 2030 if we include Tesla bot, Robotaxi, Tesla energy, Tesla insurance, 20 million vehicles sold in 2030, and full self-driving once it's adapted, regulated, and ready to go? If you guys been watching me for some time now, you guys know I'm going all in into Tesla stock. And all the predictions and projections I'm doing, I don't include all these other things, bot, Robotaxi, energy, insurance. I just put the vehicle deliveries and a little bit of FSD, and we still get phenomenal numbers. But in today's video, I get very curious, and I'm pretty sure you guys are too, what the stock price will be in 2030 if we include all of it, all of Tesla's product and services. So you already know that this video is going to be very, very interesting. But you know what else is interesting? If you're going all in into Tesla stock or any other stock really that you're going all in, mainly Tesla stock, I now have merch that says go all in. I've already ordered mine. It's on the way. It's not here yet. Otherwise, I would be wearing that. But it's available on my Teespring store. You guys can go ahead, click the link in the description or the card in the corner to check it out. It's pretty darn interesting. And if you're going all in like I am, man, it makes a whole lot of sense. But enough chit-chatting, man. Let's get into the video. All I ask in return is a like and subscribe if you haven't already, man. Let's go, man. This is exciting. So if you guys been following me for some time, you guys already know that this chart looks familiar. Actually, I've enhanced it and I increased the insurance, the robo-taxis, the energy, the Tesla bots. I think that's all the services and products Tesla has, unless they bring other things in the future, like the the Pi phone, which, I mean, we haven't heard anything about it yet. It's only rumors. But if that comes in, well then, if the phone comes in, then you can expect the laptops, the computers. I mean, it's a whole different sector. But we're just going to go ahead and go based on things that we already know and go ahead and predict what the sales and profits would be for them and see what the total revenue would be, and then find the stock price. It's going to be exciting, man. Let's go. So for vehicle deliveries for 2022, I put it at 1.4 million. Most likely it's going to be a bit more than that. You guys can check out my Q3 delivery predictions over here. Sheesh! It's a high number. I mean, it may be less because now they have another shutdown going on in Shanghai, like 6 days or something. So it's going to be slightly less than that number, but nonetheless, it's pretty close to that number. But for 2022, I kept that at 1.4 million. Could have been 1.5, but oh well, could have, would have, should have. In 2023, I said that because they couldn't do 1.5 in 2022, not because of demand problem, but because of shutdown of Shanghai factories, slow production of Berlin and Texas, but mainly because of Shanghai factory closure. In 2023, you're going to come back with a monstrous growth of 60%, and we get over 2.2 million vehicles delivered. In 2024, we go 50% growth on top of that. We get over 3.3 million vehicles delivered. In 2025, we get another 50%, over 5 million vehicles delivered. In 2026, growth starts to slow down a bit. We're going to say 40%, but that's still amazing. Over 7 million vehicles delivered. Crazy, man. In 2027, another 40% growth. We get almost 9.9 million vehicles delivered. In 2028, another 40% growth. We get almost 14 million vehicles delivered. And in 2029, we said 30% growth because obviously the bigger the number it gets, it's harder to maintain that high percentage of growth. It's just mathematics and statistics, but nonetheless, 30% growth, even at that, is phenomenal. And we get almost 18 million vehicles delivered. And in 2030, I capped it at 20 million, but if we add another 20% or even 30%, it'll be way more than 20 million. But we're just going to cap it at 20 million because that's their goal. And we're going to assume that they're going to hit 20 million vehicles delivered by 2030. Now for FSD or full self-driving, I have a one-time payment here instead of the subscription because we don't have data how much Tesla is charging and how many customers are charging. We don't have that info yet. So we're just going to go ahead and take the one-time fee instead. And so for the one-time fee in 2020, it was 8,000. In 2021 was 10,000. In 2022, you see I have 12,500. Now, originally it was 12,000. But after September 5th, they're going to increase it to 15,000. So that'll average about 12,500 this year. If they brought it up in June or halfway through the year, it would be an equal of 13,500, smack right in the middle. But because they're bringing it a bit later, it averages about to 12,500. In 2023, we're going to assume they're going to keep it at 15,000. In 2024, 17,000. 2025, 19,000. Pretty much increasing it 2,000 every single year until 2030 at a price of almost 30,000, 29,000 if you want the full self-driving and not pay the subscription. Just go, all in on your FSD. Now, vehicles with FSD, again, we don't have subscription. Obviously, it's a lot more than that. But based on 2021 numbers, there was 150,000 vehicles with FSD and they sold about almost 1 million vehicles, 936,000 vehicles. That comes down to around 16%, but we're going to say 15% to be conservative for 2022. Now, end of 2022, they're going to say they're going to have 1 million FSD drivers. Now, right now, there's about 3 million, over 3 million vehicles of Tesla on the road ever made. So that would bring the percentage even higher to 33%. But we're going to keep these conservative and say 15% for the entire year from now to 2030. So yeah, that's really lowballing it, but let's keep it conservative. So doing that 15% every single year to 2030, we get 3 million vehicles with FSD. And again, they're one-time fees, so they don't carry over like how subscription does. It's a lot more money with subscription. Now the revenue, easy maths, we do the one-time fee with the vehicles, we get these revenues, we get almost $87 billion in just FSD alone by 2030. That's absolutely crazy. The FSD profit is absolutely ridiculous. This is a cash machine for Tesla. For 2021, we had a number of 600 million out of 1.5 billion. That's over 40%. That's crazy. Based on some research that I did, from now till 2030, they're going to keep increasing the profit margin by 2%. That means by 2030, it's going to be around or 60% profit margin just off FSD. So that's crazy. And we're going to go ahead and put those numbers here as well. So in 2022, it's going to be 48% margin. This is what we get. In 2023, it's 50% margin. This is the number that we get. 52% and another 52% in 2025, keeping it more conservative, keeping it the same. I'm not going to increase it 2% for 2 years just to keep it, because these numbers get ridiculous, man. I'm telling you, these numbers get ridiculous to the point that I can't comprehend. So I'm trying to keep things conservative. 2026, 54%, 2027, 56%, 2028, 58%, 2029, 60%, and 2030, 62%. We get almost $54 billion in just profit just from FSD alone, one-time fee. Absolutely crazy. Now, insurance, Tesla insurance. This is my first time going to estimate it, and I'm keeping this extremely conservative. And obviously, in a way that could make sense. Note that this is all speculation, all predicting, and not facts. Tesla is not disclosing or reporting how much money they make on Tesla insurance, not yet at least. So we gotta predict it. We gotta be speculative here, but educatedly, not just taking numbers from the air. So Tesla insurance percentage worldwide. 2020 and 2021, there was no information, so we have nothing available for that. In 2022, I put 20% because Tesla insurance right now is only available in the US. And only in the US at the moment. They're in few states. They're not in all states. They're slowly going. I think by year end, almost 80% of all Tesla owners can get insured. So I'm guessing that they're probably going to be almost in every state by end of this year. But I kept it at 20%. And you'll see where this number is going in a bit. For 2023, I put at 30%, knowing that they're going to be in all of the US, maybe entering Canada a little bit and a little bit of Europe. In 2024, they're all in Canada, all in US, maybe a little bit more in Europe. In 2025, all the way to 2030, I kept it at 50% because at this point, I'm assuming that literally anywhere around the world, you would have Tesla insurance to opt in, except for China. And because, China is really hard to predict what they can do. It's a risky country. So maybe the government wouldn't want Tesla insurance, or maybe insurance doesn't work the way how we do it here. I really don't know. So I kept it at 50% because I could imagine that 50% of cars being produced and delivered would be in China. It's a massive market there for EVs. So 50%, even though it's 80%, that's what they say, that's what they're predicting, that's what Tesla is saying, but I'm gonna say 50% to keep it conservative. Now we have to figure out what the average car insurance cost will be. So doing a little bit of research, I took Canada, Europe, and the US average monthly and yearly insurance costs. I combine them together, put them in US dollars. We get about $113 monthly in 2022, which yearly it would be $1,356. So let's go ahead and put it here, $1,356 annually on insurance on the average in Europe and North America. I gave it a 2% inflation rate every single year, even though I think 2% is a little low at the moment, but keeping it, civil, I guess, 2%, we get about almost $1,600 annually by 2030. Now, Tesla vehicles with Tesla insurance, we can go ahead and get that number now. 20% of 1.4 million vehicles delivered would be around 280,000 vehicles that will opt in for Tesla insurance in 2022. In 2023, it would be with 30%, 672,000. In 2024, it will be over 1.3 million. In 2025, it will be over 2.5 million. In 2026, it will be over 3.5 million. 2027, almost 5 million. 2028, 7 million almost. 2029, almost 9 million, and 2030, because we have a cap of 20 million, it caps up at 10 million vehicles with Tesla insurance that opts in. That's a lot of cars. Tesla insurance, based on some research that I did, they can save about 30 to 50% and then sometimes 40 to 60%. But putting the average from both of these numbers, we get around 37%, but let's bump it up to 40%. Now, deducting 40% from the average insurance cost today will get us these numbers. In 2022, from $1,356, we get $814 annually. That's absolutely crazy. That's insane. That's crazy. And I personally know people who have Tesla insurance and they said that insurance premium drops almost 60%, not 40%. So I guess 40% is a conservative number. So we're gonna do this for the entire decade, and by 2030, your premium drops down from almost $1,600 to literally just below $1,000. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Now, knowing that, the total insurance revenue for 2022 from 280,000 vehicles with the annual rate of $813.60, we get about $228 million. That's absolutely crazy. But in 2023, because these are subscriptions, because Tesla insurance you pay on a monthly basis and you pretty much have to pay it because it's by law, it carries over to the next month. So in 2023, that's exactly what I did. Multiplying 672,000 vehicles to $828.87. Adding 2022 as well, we get $785 million. That's absolutely crazy. We're gonna drag that on to 2030, and by 2030, we should have about $36 billion in just insurance alone. That's crazy. But the profits are more crazier, kind of. I took more of a conservative approach when it comes to the profits. I gave it a 10%. I know, it's probably gonna be a lot more because Tesla has a massive competitive edge when it comes to their insurance, you know, seeing how much you drive now, not how you drive. So that's a competitive edge to other insurance and other automobile companies. But let's give it a 10% to be conservative. And with 10%, we get by 2030 over $3.5 billion in profit of just Tesla insurance alone. Sheesh! That's crazy. That's like the size, almost the size of Allstate by 2030. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. And remember, we only did 50% while they're saying 80%. So conservative on top of conservative. Sheesh. Let's move on now to Robotaxi. Man, Robotaxi has been delayed time and time again. Even now, we suspected by end of 2020 or 2021 we'll have some sort of Robotaxi. Now it got pushed till end of 2022. Now they're saying that by end of 2022, we're gonna have 1 million FSD beta drivers rather than Robotaxis. But that's okay, man. You know, Robotaxis need a lot more time. I get it. Elon Musk keeps saying it every year, and he's known for delaying a lot of things. But eventually he gets it done. It's just a matter of when. And in my opinion, the matter of when, I think it's going to be in 2025. It's not going to be 2022, 2024, 2025 seems to be ideal because the FSD beta still needs work. But in 2025, what I said is that once they get the FSD, the full self-driving, the autopilot, the automation, autonomous driving, whatever, once it's approved and regulated and good to go, reaches level 5 and beyond, I said that they're going to start off with a small fleet of 100,000 vehicles, good drivers, picking extremely good drivers to test out Robotaxi. As a start, Elon Musk claimed that every Robotaxi could make around $30,000. That's crazy. That'll be the revenue for Tesla when it comes to Robotaxis. So we're gonna do that. 100,000 Robotaxis multiply 30,000 and we get around $3 billion in 2025. 2026, because it was successful, we're gonna assume it was successful, they bumped it up 5 times to 500,000 vehicles with a $30,000 revenue. We get $15 billion. In 2027, 1.5 million Robotaxis, $45 billion. 2028, 3 million Robotaxis. That'll give us a $90 billion in revenue. In 2029, 5.5 million vehicles that are Robotaxis with $30,000 in revenue each. That'll give us $165 billion. And in 2030, I put it at $243 billion, which is exactly half of ARK's prediction of 2026. So yeah, I'm being conservative. Personally, I don't think they can deliver what ARK is saying by 2026. I think it's just that's too intense. So I got more conservative. I got pretty hard conservative. I said that they won't do that till 2030 / half. And that's how I got 2030's number. For the profit margins, I just left it at 10%. I know it's gonna be a lot more than that, but I'm pretty sure that at least Tesla will take 10% cut from every Robotaxi sales revenue that they make. I think it makes sense. 10% cut is not bad, but I'm pretty sure they could do a whole lot more than that, especially for someone who just sits at home, hits Robotaxi and does nothing and collects money. I think Tesla should get a cut of that, maybe upwards of 20%, but hey, let's say 10%. Overall, that'll give us by 2030 over $25 billion in profits, which is absolutely crazy. Again, guys, Robotaxi is complete speculation. No one knows how much they're actually gonna make. No one knows how much Tesla's gonna take. So we're just speculating here what could happen. Again, even the numbers, even if they reach $250 billion in revenue by 2030, I can't comprehend that, but that's just, hey man, that's Tesla. Now moving on to Tesla Energy, you know, the solar panels, power walls, all that good stuff. Elon Musk has pointed out that one day the energy sector that Tesla is doing would match or be the same size as the vehicle business. But let's be more conservative and let's see what they're gonna do this year. In 2022, in Q1, they did about 80 million, 85 million. And in Q2, they've done about 105 million, more than last quarter, which is pretty nice. But they are supply strained, chips, all that stuff. The whole world is at the moment, even now. Sheesh. But let's assume for Q3 and Q4, they're gonna be in the average of 80 millions. And with that, we get a total revenue of 322 million in 2022. And from then, I said 5% growth every single year till 2030. I know that's being conservative, but we need to be conservative here. And by 2030, we get almost 500 million in revenue, which is not bad. Not matching the vehicle side of it yet, but keeping it conservative. For the energy profit, in the margin at least, for 2022, they make no money because they're still in debt. Actually, they should be minus. We're gonna keep it at 0. In 2023, I said 5%. In 2024, I said 7%, and then 10%, and then 12%, and then 15%, 18%, 21%, and finishing off 2030 by 25% because we're just trying to match what the profit would be for the same as the vehicle side as well, which we assume would be around 25% by 2030. So not bad, almost $500 million by 2030 and over 100 million in profit of this energy. That's not bad. Although I do believe this number will grow more exponentially, but let's keep it conservative, as usual. Now, moving on to the most speculation of the speculation, and that's Tesla Bot. Now, as you guys know, Tesla Bot has been announced by Elon Musk, and Tesla, that's something that they really, really want to do. And if they can pull it off, my God, if they can pull it off, this is what will take Tesla to new heights, next levels. Yes, robotaxis and the FSD is going to take Tesla to the next levels, but the bot is just maybe 10 times higher than these levels. Absolutely crazy. Now for the Tesla Bot, they said they're gonna start production next year, but honestly, Tesla Bot is a massive project and it needs a lot of work. I don't think they're gonna do anything, maybe prototype in 2023, but I don't think it'll actually hit the market until 2027, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Comment down below if you guys agree with that. But Tesla Bot for me is something that I don't fully understand yet. I have no idea what the revenues will be and what the profits would be. So it's gonna be pure speculation here. Now, there were some research that I did. Tesla did mention that, or Elon mentioned that Tesla Bot could cost 10,000 each. All right, we're just gonna go ahead with that, 10,000 each. In 2027, I said that they're gonna start off with a small fleet of 10,000 Tesla Bots. You know, in their own warehouse, maybe SpaceX will order, maybe some other companies will order for a test. And with a $10,000 cost base, that's a revenue of 100 million in 2027. If things go well and people like it and, you know, they get to hire a whole bunch of humans to replace with robots. Oh man, that sounds so bad. Oh, Jesus. I don't know how the world's gonna look like by then, but in 2028, we're gonna 10x that to 100,000 Tesla Bots at a price of 10,000 and we get 1 billion. Note that if Tesla Bots do get very popular, Tesla can increase prices as well. Maybe up to 15, 20, maybe even 25, 30,000, depending how much demand is for Tesla Bots. But we're keeping it 10,000 the whole entire years to see, you know, to keep it conservative. We don't know yet. 2028, we get $1 billion. That's crazy. In 2029, they're gonna 5x, 500,000 Tesla Bots at 10,000 cost. We get 5 billion. And in 2030, 1 million Tesla Bots at a price of 10,000 each. That's $10 billion in revenue. That's not bad. Now, going back to 2027 with the profit margins, I said 10%, even though most likely when they first start this project with like making the Tesla Bots, they're not gonna make any money. They're gonna be at a loss probably, just like how they were with the vehicles. But let's just say they do 10% because they do have the software, they do have the building blocks of it thanks to the full self-driving. It does have that data, but again, 10%, we get about $10 million in profit. and then 20% next year. In 2028 we get 200 million, and then 2029 25%, because this is extremely scalable with Tesla Bot. Once they get it up and running, they just got to make more Tesla bots. Tesla bots will make more Tesla bots, and it'll just be cash machine for Tesla. Absolutely crazy. I mean, I can predict that as if this goes and it goes exponential, it's about a 60 plus profit margin for them. But keeping it conservative, right? 25% in 2029, we get $1.25 billion in profit. And in 2030, we get $3.5 billion in net profits if it's 35% profit margin rate. But still, that's crazy. Again, no idea, just throwing numbers together at a later stage. Maybe this will happen, may not, no one knows. So take this with a grain of salt. Take this whole thing with a grain of salt, man. We're just having fun here, doing predictions, what Tesla could potentially be worth. And we're going to get to that in a bit after we go ahead and calculate the total revenue and net income. Are you ready? Man, if you're ready, man, you better smash that like button. Now, the total revenue for 2022 and pretty much for the whole of the whole decade, pretty much, it's going to include everything. Vehicles, FSD, insurance, Robotaxi, energy, and Tesla Bot. That's it. I mean, I don't think there's anything else at the moment. These are the main ones. For 2022, we can expect that this year they're going to do almost $83 billion in revenue. And that's only if they do 1.4 million vehicles. If you do more than that, well, then it'll probably be 85 billion plus, almost hitting $14 billion. And again, if it's 1.4, more than that, 1.4 million vehicles delivered more than that, this will be probably closer to 15 billion. But keeping as what it is, these are the numbers. In 2023, we get almost $134 billion total revenue and almost $27 billion in net income. Sheesh! Sheesh, sheesh, sheesh. Nearly a double. I mean, exactly a double if you look at here. That's crazy. In 2024, we get over $202 billion and net income over $45 billion. In 2025, we get over $309 billion and net income over $76 billion. In 2026, we get almost half $1 trillion. I mean, that's just mad. That's crazy. With a net income of over $126 billion. In 2027, we get $654 billion and a net income over $188 billion. In 2028, because this is where everything starts to slowly compound, we get a total revenue of almost $950 billion with a net income almost reaching $300 billion. That's just freaking crazy, man. That's crazy. But 2029 gets crazier. We reach almost $1.3 trillion in 2029. I mean, these are numbers that are just crazy, man. A net income almost reaching $400 billion. And in 2030, we get over $1.5 trillion. And a net income over $456 billion. I mean, pretty much $500 billion in net income by 2030. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. Shares outstanding every single year from 2022 and onwards, I said they're going to grow at a 2%. They're going to dilute 2% every single year, and we get over 3.6 billion. Most likely, they're not going to dilute after 2024 or 2025 because look at the amount of cash they're making. Why do they need to dilute? They don't need to dilute. Dilute, not dilute. What the heck is that? But anyways, they don't need to go ahead and dilute. Most likely, there's going to be buybacks and probably dividends by mid-year, maybe 2026, 2027. So yeah, that's more likely, but keeping it conservative, 2% dilution every single year. The EPS follows that as well. And now the mighty PE. All right, this is where we're going to find out what the stock price is going to be post-split, obviously, because now we are in post-split. It's going to get pretty darn wild. And if you're not ready, man, that's because you haven't smashed that like button. Come on, man, smash that like button. Now you're ready. In 2022, I give it a PE of 100 because we are at 100 right now. We know that Q3 and Q4 are going to be monstrous. Most likely in Q4, this recession is going to get a lot more easier to handle in my opinion. I believe what's going to happen is that interest rates will start to go down on the decline because we are going to be in a light recession. It's not going to be a heavy one. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm giving it a PE of 100. And with a PE of 100, we get a stock price of $438 per share. And a market cap almost at $1.4 trillion. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. In 2023, I gave it a PE of 75, and we get a Tesla stock price of $727 per share and a market cap over $2 trillion. In 2024, I gave it a PE of 70, and we get a stock price of $970 per share and a market cap over almost $3.2 trillion. pretty much where Apple is at the moment, maybe a bit less than that. But will Tesla surpass Apple in valuation and become the world's most valued company? Well, check out this video because it gets very interesting. Going back to this, in 2025, I gave it a PE of 65, which gave it a stock price almost at $1,500 per share and a market cap at almost $5 trillion. Absolutely crazy. In 2026, I gave it a PE of 60, and this gives us a stock price of over $2,200 per share and a market cap over $7.5 trillion. Like, that's crazy. It skipped $6 trillion. That's absolutely insane. In 2027, I gave it a PE of 55, and this would give us a stock price almost at $3,000 per share and a market cap over $10 trillion. It skipped 8 and 9 trillion. That's absolutely crazy. In 2028, I gave it a PE of 50, and we get a stock price almost at $4,000 per share and a market cap of 14 trillion. I mean, that's just crazy. Look, listen, if we get over this recession from 2023 and onwards, and if these numbers that we get, that is a massive bull market that we're about to head into. That's absolutely insane. In 2029, I gave it a PE of 40, and we get a stock price of 4,311 with a market cap over $15.5 trillion. That's just mad. That's just crazy. And by 2030, with a PE of 35, which I don't believe it'll be 35 if Tesla bot and Robotaxi, they start to increase and start to produce. Most likely the PE around there would be around 40 to 45. We get a stock price of $4,442 per share and a market cap over $16 trillion. I mean, that's just absolutely crazy. 16 trillion. Sheesh. Now I know what you guys are thinking, that oh my god, 16 trillion, like, you know, the US GDP right now is 21, 22 trillion. Maybe by then, 2030, it'll be 30 trillion. How is that possible? Well, first of all, yes, Tesla is a US company, but they're more of an international company because they have gigafactories in Shanghai, Berlin, and obviously 2 in the US. We heard 1 may come in Canada, in Toronto. That's where I am, so that's gonna be awesome. 1 might go to Indonesia, 1 might go to Brazil, 1 might go to UK. So obviously, this $16 trillion in market cap will be split between the respectful countries. So let's say 20% of that or 30% of that is in the US. Well, the US will benefit 30% of the 16 trillion. And then let's say 30% is in China. Well, then China will benefit the rest of that, and so on and so forth. That's how it works. It doesn't all go back to the US GDP just because it's a US company. So yeah, and here's how the chart looks like. As you guys can see, it's exponential growth up until 2029, 2030, but then that's when Tesla bot will come or Robotaxi will come and take it on another S-curve, probably even doubling this. I don't know, I'm just saying stuff, man. But that's what could potentially happen to Tesla. Not will, but potentially could happen. It's all a prediction. Nothing less, nothing more. Take this with a grain of salt. Do your research. More research is always needed. But me, personally, I'm all in on Tesla. I think it's the best stock to buy right now. I'm pretty sure all of you guys are watching now, 80%, 90% of you are saying the same thing too. We go onto the flipping moon if this is true. I mean, that's a 16x from now. Like, we're at almost $1 trillion valuation at the moment, a bit less. A 16x from now till flipping 2030. More than that, actually, maybe 18x. I mean, that's just, I don't know. That's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy. 16 trillion market cap, I don't know. That's kind of hard for me to comprehend. But, you know, if we look at Apple in 2010 till now, it's up about like 12 times, 15 times. So if you do the same to Tesla right now, 10, 15 times, this is what you get. This is just near the numbers that you get. And mind you, 10 years ago, no one thought that Tesla's gonna 15, 16x, you know, up until today. If they knew, I'm pretty sure they would probably put a lot of money into it. Tesla is pretty much where Apple is 10 years ago, but on steroids. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. Not financial advice. I can't stress that enough. But comment down below if you guys agree with this valuation, with this stock price prediction for Tesla. It is a bit overwhelming a little bit for me, to be honest. I mean, these are big numbers and big projects that Tesla wants to do that we have no idea that they will actually do it or not. But if they do, and if they do become alive, like the Tesla bot, for example, then you can see the growth. It's absolutely insane. But Q3 is around the corner, and that means Tesla's gonna be showing what their delivery is going to be literally next month, the 1st or 2nd of October. And so I predict this. Check this out if you guys want to see what the Q3 delivery numbers will be. It's a bit less because, again, they shut down for 6 days. I'll do an update on that later as well. But check it out. You won't be disappointed. It's pretty interesting. And yeah, we are going to the flipping moon with that. And don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.